This story was about the boy named Bam who wanted nothing else but to see his friend Rachel again. They were separated when Rachel decided to climb the Tower of God in order for her wish be granted, see stars again. Anyone who could climb to the top of this tower would receive anything he or she wished for. Just a few seconds after Rachel entered the tower, Bam also was able to enter inside. Then he was surprised and saw Hedon, who was a guardian in the tower. Bam was considered an irregular because he was not among those chosen by Hedon to climb the tower. But he was given the chance to go up to the next floor if he passed the test that Hedon would give. And the challenge to him was to break the ball inside the cage guarded by a white steel eel. Bam ran to approach the gate, but Yuri, the princess of Jihad, arrived with her navigator, named Evan. Yuri said that Bam was weak for an irregular, that's why she stopped him in doing the challenge because he might just be killed by the steel eel. She added that even those on the 20th floor had a hard time defeating the creature. As for Hedon, this kind of test was just enough for Bam because he was an irregular. Because Yuri liked Bam's character, she lent him her black march weapon, which could only be wielded by a Jihad princesses. When Bam entered the prison, he was immediately eaten by the steel eel, but he attacked it inside, causing the creature to quickly spit him out. Hedon saw that Bam passed the point of this test by overcoming the fear of death. When Bam got near the ball, he immediately tried to break it, but he could not break it. As he repeatedly attacked the ball, he remembered the day when Rachel helped him. When the steel eel was about to attack him again, Evan told him to ask the Black March to lend him its power. Bam tried what was told him, and the Black March fulfilled his wish that even Yuri could not do. Since the girl from the Black March liked Bam, she helped him get to the second floor for the next test. Yuri decided to follow Bam because he was still holding her Black March. Bam reached the next level. The exam on the second floor was participated by 400 participants, and there were only 200 participants who were expected to pass it. When the test started, he was immediately attacked by one of the participants. One of the participants was about to shoot him when Rak, also another participant, came and destroyed its gun. Rak sensed that there was something strange about the weapon held by Bam, so he went to him, together with Kun and another participant. They all faced each other while Bam seemed uneasy as he was surrounded by them. Rak attacked Kun, but its attack was easily avoided. Kun was about to leave to find companions when he noticed the mark on the Black March that Bam was holding. He returned to save Bam. On the other hand, Anak and Hats fought from the distance while Shibisu was just watched them. Bam and Kun hid until the participants left were only 200. Kun knew that there was something different about Bam because the Jihad princess entrusted him the Black March. Because of this, Kun decided that it was better if he would work with Bam. Suddenly, Rak came and was about to them. Luckily, it was just in time when they heard that the 200 participants was completed. Then they were told to form a group consisting of 3 members within 5 minutes. Bam and Kun leave to find another member, but Rak was still following them and wanted to fight Bam. There were only a few seconds left when Kun and Bam were forced to hold onto Rak so they could form their group. After entering the venue of those who passed the test, they were faced by the test administrator, named Leroro, who was also a ranker. Bam did not know what does it mean by a ranker, so Kun explained it to him. The rankers were said to have reached the top of the tower where the king of Jihad was located. Leroro said that there were many who had passed the second test, so he had to eliminate some and chose those who deserved to pass. Then he released water called Shinsu, causing the participants to move back. Leroro said that all they had to do was to pass through it to be able to continue to the next level. To their surprise, they noticed Bam, who was standing next to Leroro and was not included on those pushed out by the Shinsu. Bam was about to return to his group, but Leroro told him that he had already passed. Leroro had the feeling and said to himself that a monster had arrived. While they both waited for the winners to cross the barrier, they made a bet on who could cross the Shinsu first. When both chose the same person and were correct, Leroro allowed Bam to ask him any question. So Bam asked if Leroro saw his friend, Rachel. Since Leroro did not see her, Bam asked again about those called irregular. Then Leroro explained that the tower was divided into 3. First was the outer tower or residential district, second was the inner tower where they were, and the third was the middle that connected the two. Those from the outer tower who were not selected by Hedon but managed to enter the first floor of the tower were called irregular. A participant interrupted their conversation, so Leroro approached this person. Leroro made him feel what Shinsu could do, and it was what it's like every day from the 30th floor and up. From this level he would know who were the participants who could endure and handle it. Kun and Rak started to enter while others also managed to pass the Shinsu. Before Leroro left, he advised Bam not to be too close with Kun. On the next level, and while they were waiting, they could hear the shouts of the other group who had competed first on this test. Someone came up to them and told them what he had observed on those who entered first. He said he noticed that everyone who passed the test did it in just 5 minutes. Kun did not immediately trust him because it was just a theory and he was just trying to make sure it was accurate if they were to take the test. Suddenly, it was mentioned that Kun was a rejected son of his family. Because of what he said, Kun got angry and rushed to attack him, but Kun was able to calm himself down. Their group was called, and when they entered, Hansing, the director of this test, was waiting there. They noticed that there was a clock there. Hansing said that in order to pass the test, they must be able to open the right door within 10 minutes. When the exam started, Kun immediately thought of the solution while Rak lost his temper and was stopped by Bam. Kun could not think properly because the other participant said that he remembered his sister Maria and his past. Before the 5th minute came, Kun saw that Rak kicked one of the doors, and this made the other doors turn green. Kun thought they failed the test, but Hansing congratulated them for they passed. The solution to this test was that they just have to open a door before the 5th minute end. Before they went out of the room, Kun and Hansing had an argument. It was about his sister Maria, who was chosen as the princess of Jihad. According to Hansing, the wound she left on Kun was the reason why Kun no longer trusted others. After the other group passed the test, the creature that Kun and Bam talked to earlier entered. It turned out that Hansing ordered him to give the participants a hint about the exam. While in the other test where Rachel was, they were able to kill all participants and only their group was left. Because of this incident, Hansing questioned Quant if he did the right thing on the test. Then Quant answered that he conducted the first and second exams at the same time to speed up the tests. He begged Hansing to cover up what he did because the higher officials might find out about it. After Quant left, he called Leroro to conduct an exam including the group of Rachel. While they were waiting for the next exam, Bam talked to Shibisu. Suddenly, Leroro came and told the participants about the bonus test that they could join. The participation in this test was voluntary and would not affect non-participants. But the winner of this test would be considered to have passed all the tests and would be granted a permit to climb the tower. Because of this, all the participants decided to join this test. In this test, the group assigned on the throne had to protect the crown until the test was over. This game was called the Crown Game, and it means that the first group to protect the crown would become more tired than others because of the number of groups that they had to defeat. The group of Rachel was also included in the test, and Rak felt the intense power of a weapon coming from the room. Shibasu's group and the other group did the test first. Anik fought the other group alone and defeated it immediately. Anik wore the crown and sat on the throne while Hats and Shibisu would fight to protect the crown worn by Anik. Bam saw Rachel and he kept calling her, but she would not answer. Meanwhile, Loroi decided that their group would join in the next round. He told his other members that although the one on the throne was at disadvantage position, it would not be that difficult by the second or third round. As the group involved in each round increased, it would be better to sit on the throne right away than to compete in the next rounds with other groups. For the next round, 2 groups came out to try to steal the crown, and this included their group of Loroi. Hats quickly defeated the other group, but Shibisu had a hard time with Loro's group, so Hats helped him. Loroi woke up and attacked Anik, but she was not affected by it. Anik used the power of her weapon, and this gave the group of Loroi a hard time in the fight. But her weapon felt the black march carried by Bam, who also felt the weapon of Anik. This gave Loro's group the opportunity to go back to their room and be disqualified in the game. Anik suddenly attacked the room where Bam was waiting and told him to give her the Black March. Because it was one of the 13 weapons owned by the Jihad princesses and was the same as her Green April weapon. Others were shocked when she also said that she was one of the princesses of Jihad. Leroro came there to stop Anik from causing trouble, but Anik made a bet with Bam. She told him that if they win the crown game, she would give her Green April, but if Bam lose, she would take the Black March. Leroro agreed to this, but Bam had second thoughts about it. Because of Rak and Kun, Bam also agreed and the crown game started again. In the third round, there were 3 groups involved including the group of Bam. They immediately went for the crown, but Kun got ahead of them and put the crown in his bag. As they tried to snatch the crown from Kun, he took it and threw it on the floor to others would go ahead and grab it. They did not know that the crown thrown by Kun was a fake, then he gave Bam the real crown. All together, they rushed at them, but Rak blocked and fought them until they were all defeated by him. In the fourth round, another 3 groups would try again to get the crown from Bam's group. A group offered the others to work together in order for them to claim the crown. Little did they know that one group was Kun's allies whom he had helped during the first exam. He put them in his bag so they could get through to the third exam, and this was also felt before by Hansing. By wearing his bandana, he gave them signal that he needed their help, so they joined this round. After Kun's allies defeated the other group, they returned to their room to disqualify themselves. Because of this, Bam's group continued in the fourth round. For the last round, Rachel's group and the remaining groups joined the challenge of taking the crown from Bam's group. When the round started, the woman in black immediately attacked the other groups. When she was finished with the 2 groups, she attacked Rak and they fought. As she got through Rak, she was about to attack Bam, but Rachel's group mate, named Indorsi, faced her and the 2 fought each other. While Rachel and her other group mate, named Akryung, were on standby and seemed to protect Bam. Kun still could not understand why Rachel's group was helping them. Until Kun and Rak were able to defeat their opponents. When Indorsi lost her balance, the woman in black immediately attacked Rachel. Bam suddenly got off from the throne to help Rachel, and he was also hit in the head by the enemy's next attack. From there, a strong power came out from Bam, which was also the same as the Shinsu. This was able to hurt the woman and break the cover on the opponent's face. Bam was about to attack her when the time suddenly stopped. The woman came out from the Black March again, then she put Bam to sleep. Meanwhile, Leroro talked to Hansing to tell the result of the crown game, that there was no winner and the crown had also been broken. Then Hansing asked Leroro if he saw anyone among the participants who could be a threat to the tower. He immediately thought of what happened to Bam, but he did not mention it to her. When Leroro left, he could feel that Hansing was not telling him something. He also thought about what happened to Bam, who had become like a Shinsu himself, which could be a threat to the tower, but he did not immediately let what Hansing words affect him. Rachel visited the room where Bam was resting and she confronted Kun. She said that she wanted to ask Kun a favor. She wanted him to lie to Bam and say that it was not Rachel that they saw in the crown game. Even though Anik got the Black March, it would not follow her command. Then Indorsi talked to Anik and asked her who was the Jihad princess that owns the Black March. She also warned Anik that she might be killed if she forgot to know her place. Kun decided to follow Rachel's request, and after 5 days of sleep, Bam had woken up. Kun told Bam about the position selection that happened for the 4th exam. It had 5 positions, which were the fisherman, spearbearer, lightbearer, scout and wave controller. It could be used to know what was the role of a participant in the team battle. The participant also needed to study carefully the position where he would be included. Leroro said that Bam belonged to the wave controller. Since the arrival of their instructor who would teach them would be delayed, they could not start their class and had to wait for him. At that moment, Kun lied to him about Rachel because Kun believed that it was better in Bam's current situation. Kun created a situation which could be a possibility why Rachel did not want to go up the tower with Bam, because she might be thinking that he was weak. Kun did this in order to motivate Bam and push him to get stronger. When the class on wave controllers started, they were made to form a contract with the administrator, which Bam succeeded, but he struggled and was out of breath after doing it. Bam apologized to the woman they fought in the crown game because of the damage she received on her eye. He also met Ho and Loroy in this class, and Bam was amazed at them because compared to him, they seemed not tired after all the challenges they faced. But what Bam did not know was that Ho also find the test more difficult compared to him. Meanwhile, Rak left to train so he could pass the spearbearer test. While Bam with the group of Shibisu and Loroy were eating together, Indorsi approached them. Then they also found out that Indorsi was also a Jihad princess when Anik mentioned it to them. Bam saw the Black March held by Anik and said that he would apologize to Yuri because of what happened if they met. Bam was thinking that the Jihad princesses were really sisters. But Khun explained that they were not sisters but were chosen by the king to represent their respective tribes and families. The fisherman class played a game, and in this game, they had to fight the other participants until only 8 of them were left. When it started, Anik immediately attacked Endorsay and the two of them fought. While Khun was in the class of the Lightbearer, he tried to look for information about Bam and Rachel, but there was not much data about them. When he looked at Anik's information, he found out that after she became a ranker, she was chosen to become the Princess of Jihad. Khun wondered why Anik was currently in the exam and wanted to climb the tower. Even the data about her showed that she was already dead. As the two continued to fight, Endorsay and Anakin also made the other participants failed the test until only a few were left in their class. When Endorsay was able to overthrow Anik, it mentioned that she planned to take revenge on the Jihad princesses because of the death of her mother, who was the true Anik Jihad. Her revenge included the murder of its lover, whose killer was also a Jihad princess. Their fight continued again until they both fell from the platform. Suddenly, Endorsay asked Anik if her mother had any regrets about her decisions during the days that she was still alive. Then Anik replied saying that she believed that her mother never once regretted her decisions. Meanwhile, as Bam's class continued to study Shinsu as wave controllers, he was able to show something good even though he could not control it yet. While Ho was still struggling and already feeling jealous of what Bam was showing in class. She also found out that Loroi helped Bam on how to control Shinsu properly in exchange for Bam's help when he helped Loroi one day. Since Shibisu and Hats had not yet completed the assignment given to them in their class for those under the scout position, Bam and Khun tried to help them on how to make Endorse, and Anik agreed to put their name on their friend list assignment to complete it. Rachel and Endorsay talked again, and Endorsay asked why she was avoiding Bam. Rachel did not answer this, and before she could leave, Endorsay told her that she hoped on whatever she was looking for at the top of the tower was more worthy than Bam. After their class, Ho received a letter and was surprised on what she had read on the paper. For the 4th test, Quant was ordered to do it, which Leroro did not like. This test was called a game of tag and they would be divided into 2 groups. There would be 2 called it, one of which would be chosen by Hansing and the other would come from the team's fishermen. To win in this test, the team had to help their it to get to the goal or grab the badge of the it who was chosen by Hansing. The team of Khun was the first to compete, and as the Lightbearer, he thought of a plan. They made Shibisu as a bait to do the role as a scout so that Quant would come to them voluntarily. Laren, who was also another Lightbearer, helped in watching over Quant as an assistant of Khun. They managed to get Quant appear to them, but it immediately attacked Laren. When Quant approached Shibisu, it was only that moment he found out that Khun's lighthouse was just above him and on top was Anik, who served as the group's it. Anik immediately attacked Quant, but she failed to hit him. Then they decide to retreat to prepare for Plan B, and Quant only gave them 111 seconds to prepare. While Anik took the elevator to go to the bridge to reach the goal. After the 111 seconds given by Quant, he immediately took action against the participants of the game. While the other group mates of Khun were on guard on the stairs to stop Quant from there. It would take another 10 minutes for Anik to reach the bridge, but according to Khun they must stop Quant for at least 5 minutes. Khun added that if their plan B would not work, they must make sure that Quant would go to the exit where he was supposed to be waiting. Quant began to attack and easily defeated those participants guarding on the stairs. When he arrived at the bridge, he saw Khun standing there instead of Anik. A few minutes ago, Anik was able to reach the bridge, but Khun let her use his lighthouse so that she could hide. Quant quickly felt that Anik was just under the bridge and that she was using Khun's lighthouse. So he pulled Khun and made him fall so that Khun's lighthouse would also fall once Khun lost his consciousness. Khun immediately removed Quant's grip on him and Anik helped him using the green April. When Anik managed to climb back to the bridge, she quickly ran towards the goal. Leroro thought that Team A had won the game, but when Anik got close to the goal, she was surprised to see Quant, who was waiting for her. He quickly snatched Anik's badge, causing them to lose in the game. After that, Khun apologized to his colleagues because they lost when his plan did not work. His group mates forgave him immediately, but they did not know that Khun had betrayed them and that he made Loroi his accomplice to execute his plan. They helped Quant to climb the bridge so he could get there quickly. Khun did all of this to help Bam pass this exam. For Leroro, what Kun and Loroi did was definitely a betrayal, but Hansing did not see it that way. She showed Leroro the friend list that was written on Shibasu's assignment. Hansing said that those on the list were the real group mates of Kun whom he wanted to climb the tower with. When Team B's turn to play the game started, they decided that Endorsi would become their leader. Hats and other spear-bearers were assigned to keep watch on the stairs. While Bam was with Endorsi and 2 other fishermen, then they took an elevator to reach the bridge. Hats fought against Quant, and when he got hold of him, he told the 2 spear-bearers to attack, but the 2 just ran away and left him alone. But they were immediately chased by Quant and were quickly defeated. When they reached the bridge, Endorsi attacked one of their group members. Because of this, Endorsi was attacked by one of their group members, but he was only beaten by her. There were only 4 of the 6 fishermen who would be able to pass, so if she defeated these 2, she would surely pass in the game. Bam could not understand what she was doing, but according to Endorsi this was what should be done if a participant really wanted to climb the tower. Endorsi wanted Bam to go and see Rachel, but Bam still would not leave the place. Until one of their group members attacked again using what was called an ignition weapon, but Bam blocked it. While Rachel was just watching what was happening to Bam, Ho suddenly spoke to her and said that she wanted to talk about her and Bam. When they were together, Ho pointed a knife at Rachel and told Rachel that if she killed her, Bam would also stop climbing the tower. The administrator immediately stopped broadcasting what was happening in the exam because of what Ho was doing. When Bam got up, he told Endorsi that he would not imitate what she was doing just to climb the tower even if Rachel pushed him away. He immediately went down and looked for Rachel, but he found out that he could not connect with her. Meanwhile, Akryung felt that something bad was happening to Rachel. Quant saw Ho and Rachel, and just a few seconds, Bam came too. Because of Ho's threat on Rachel's life, Bam was forced to face Quant. Bam's whole body was covered with shinsu so that he could not move. And Quant told him that if he could do this to Ho, he could save Rachel. Rachel tried to get away from Ho, causing her to stab by Ho. Bam quickly put a shinsu on Ho, and Quant was surprised that Bam was able to quickly copy his technique. While Rak was surprised when Akryung suddenly disappeared. Then Ho told Bam all her reasons why she did it to Rachel. When Serena came, and it was the moment when Ho stabbed herself. Endorsi also came there while holding the ignition weapon. Before she and Quant fight for the badge, Endorsi showed her badge to him. Bam also helped Endorse by using shinsu on him, but Quant suddenly snatched the vest of Endorsi with the badge. Endorsi approached Quant and leaned on him, but Quant did not know that she was just pretending to be sad. It turned out that the badge hanging on Endorse's vest was not a badge. Quant was shocked when Endorse was able to get his badge, which was the reason why their group won this test. After that, Rock informed others on the sudden disappearance of Akryung. Endorsi said that when she saw Rachel, she was already with Akryung. Kun was thinking and knew that only 2 wave controllers could continue in the game. Since Loroi was sure that he could keep up, Kun found a way to help Bam. He also got the information from Hwar Yun about Ho, so he also looked onto it. Kun had a hunch that Bam would not continue climbing the tower because of what happened to Rachel. Then Bam arrived just in time and talked to Kun and Rak. He told them that Rachel could not walk anymore because of her situation. He also informed them that he would continue to climb the tower to act as Rachel's feet. If this was what Rachel really wanted, he would continue to reach the top for her. They were also notified of those who passed the exam. Bam and Rachel passed it, but because of Rachel's situation it would still result for her not to continue the tests. Kun approached and talked to Hansing to allow Rachel to continue on the test. When Kun found out from Leroro about the administrator test, he wanted to try this test to change the policy that forbids Rachel to continue due to her condition. But Hansing told him that only irregulars could take the administrator test. Bam suddenly interrupted the conversation and told them that he was an irregular so he could try this test. Hansing allowed him and took him inside to see the administrator. The other participants talked about the irregulars, and Shibisu said that there was a rumor that whenever an irregular appeared, there was a possibility that something bad could happen to the tower. Leroro added that anyone who supported an irregular like Bam and passed, he had a chance to climb the tower on a shorter and faster route but would be recognized as an accomplice of an irregular at any time. So Kun pretended that he would not help Bam anymore, made Rak as his accomplice on this act. This was to test the rest of their companions on their decisions, but it turned out that almost all of them already decided to help Bam. When Bam saw the administrator, it also knew that they would meet again. It only took a few minutes for Bam to come out and inform Hansing of the administrator's approval for him and Rachel to continue on the test. The final test immediately began and was called the underwater hunt. Bam and Rachel would serve as fishes inside the bubble made of shinsu, and they had to catch the dolphins by the net and brought them towards the dolphin queen. When the queen was able to eat them and spit them out on the ground, it means that they passed. While the others' job was to make sure that they could make Bam and Rachel help the dolphins catch properly. In order to do this, they had to stop the goblins who used the worms in stealing the fish caught by the net dolphins. One of the things they need to watch out for were the striped earth pigs, which were feared by the net dolphins. Aside from that, there was another possible obstacle, and it was the so-called bull, which was a monster that even rankers ran away from it. When it began, the net dolphins started to act, but the bull attacked Hats's colleagues. Shibisu saw this, and the bull was about to follow the net dolphin, so he stopped it. Indorsi and Anik came there and fought against the monster. The net dolphins also started making nets using shinsu. Hats also saw that the goblins started to move and he followed them. Paracule's spear accidentally hit the goblin that was approaching Hats, causing a noise that the other goblins noticed and saw them, so Hats and others quickly ran away. Rak did not like what they did, so they went back and attacked the giant worm. They were ready to fight the goblins when they suddenly floated, which turned out to be done by Loroi. Then they saw striped earth pigs emerge from the giant worms. Naray told them that Kun discovered the underground tunnel which the net dolphins go through to reach the water. Using Loro's power, he destroyed the path, causing the earth pigs to take the path to the goblins so they would fight each other. Kun told them that he would rest for a bit, but it turned out that a member of his family was already with him. While Indorsi was fighting the monster, it suddenly ran away from her. They followed it, and when Indorsi faced it again, it was able to defeat her. While Anik was able to face Ren, the daughter of the Royal Enforcement Division Unit No. 67. She showed the necklace that was given to Anik by her mother. Anak got angry at this and fought Ren, but she easily defeated it. The bull came there carrying Indorsi, then Ren told Indorsi to kill Anik. Indorsi picked up the green April and approached Anik, who thought that she would be killed by her, but Indorsi told her that they should finish off Ren immediately. Indorsi borrowed the Black March and returned the green April to Anik. The two of them fought Ren, but they were once again being defeated by it. While Shibisu was looking for Indorsi and Anik, he suddenly felt fear. It turned out to be Yuri who was behind him, and he accompanied her to look for Indorsi and Anik. Ren was about to take the green April when Yuri stopped her and ordered her to leave. Ren was forced to attack Yuri, but because Yuri was so strong, none of her attacks hit Yuri. Instead, she was just got beaten by Yuri. Meanwhile, as Hansing's group were watching the ongoing battle, they noticed someone, and when they tried to see who it was, a connection suddenly disappeared, which was done by the man who visited Kun. While Kun was talking to this man, Hats was able to enter there with the help of Loroi. Then he immediately attacked the man, but it left suddenly. Hansing knew that Yuri was in the testing area, so she met with Evan and Kurden. While they were having tea, Evan sent Kurden to the testing area, who called Yuri to tell her not to help Anik. So what Yuri did, was to ask Kurden to kill Ren, who was immediately defeated. They did not know that Ren had ordered the bull to go to Bam's location. Yuri got angry and said that she would use force to stop the ongoing test. But Hansing said that if she do this, Bam would fail the test. Then Indorsi told Yuri that they believed that Bam would be able to defeat the bull. With the bull's repeated attacks, Bam had suffered a lot of injuries. It managed to eat Bam, but Bam attacked from the inside of the bull until it exploded. Then Yuri handed something to Shibisu. She wanted him to give it to Bam and tell him to go to the 77th floor. Meanwhile, Evan was surprised to see War Yun, whom he also knew as a navigator. When Bam and Rachel were close to the net dolphin queen, Rachel suddenly pushed him out, which surprised Bam. Rachel said that it was finally over, but for Head-On it was just the beginning. Previously, when Rachel entered the tower, Head-On immediately told her that the tower was not calling her. But she begged to be allowed to climb the tower, so she was given the test on the white steel eel. But Rachel told Head-En that it was impossible for her to pass this test. Head-On showed Rachel why she was not chosen and Bam could do what she could not do. Because of her frustration, she wondered why could Bam get everything when all he did was just to follow her. Head-On made an agreement with Rachel that if she could kill Bam then he would allow her climb the tower. Rachel agreed and asked him to give her a weapon to use because Bam also had a weapon. So Head-On gave Akryung as Rachel's bodyguard. Rachel always wished that someone else would kill Bam because she knew that she could not do it. Even Hansing had something to do on whether Bam deserved what they wanted. And with the help of the navigator, War-Yun who pretended to be one of the participants, Hansing was able to carry out the plans on Bam and Rachel. When Rachel was spit out by the Net Dolphin Queen, the other participants were all there too and were wondering why Bam was not with her. Then Rachel just answered that they were being attacked by a bull before she lost her consciousness. When Leroro faced the participants, he explained that they searched the entire area but they could not find Bam's body. He added that it was also possible that the fish ate him. As for the test results, he announced that they all passed. Then Leroro immediately went to Hansing to find out what happened and its connection to what Rachel did. But Hansing said that everything Rachel did are based on its decisions. Since Leroro could no longer bear what was happening, he decided to resign as test administrator and he also did the same to Quant. All those who passed decided to help Rachel to climb the tower because they owed this to Bam. When they were about to go up to the next floor, Kun had a hunch that Rachel had done something bad to Bam. Meanwhile, War-Yun saw Bam surrounded by Shinsu that protected him. When Bam woke up, War-Yun mentioned to him that he possessed the power that others wanted. But Bam did not care about this because he just wanted his questions to be answered. So War-Yun told him that all of his questions could be answered if he climbed the tower. War-Yun added that she would also train him. Bam believed that the answers to his questions were not at the top of the tower but he was going to find out how, so he decided to continue climbing. And this is the end of the season 1. I hope you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel so you won't miss newly uploaded videos. Thank you for watching.